that serious for me anymore. Yep.
So, you guys text occasionally?
It's usually started by him. He'll text me and say, "Hey, how's it going?" He'll just kind of check in and see how we're doing, see how I'm doing.
Okay.
And I'm cordial. I mean, we're not friends on any social media.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with him. He don't know what's going on with me.
That's probably good.
Yeah, we don't really talk on the phone. But I did tell him what I can do for him is I can try my best to be cordial, and over time, maybe we can be friends again. But it's going to take some time, and he understands that. And I think now he definitely knows what he lost because he's had a few bumps in the road since then. So selfishly that makes you feel good.
Yeah. You mentioned that you had been in therapy. Is that still ongoing?
Yes. I think it is.
Good.
I love therapy.
I'm so pro therapy. Pro therapy.
And I think Black people don't do it because we've been taught not to do it and let the Lord handle it. And you know what? The thing about it is you're talking to a person who is neutral. It's different than talking to your friends because they're going to have your But when you talk to somebody who's just listening, it's refreshing and it helps you put things into perspective that you didn't know that you could do. It helped me, and I love it. Love therapy.
How often are you going?
So now I go every other week.
Okay.
Before I was going twice a week.
How often was not how often? That's not the question. But how difficult was it for you to find a therapist that you matched with? That's always been hard for me. I've probably seen 5 and only matched really with one.
Wow.
That I love. Old Jewish man.
Really?
Jewish man. Yes. Loved him. He saved my life. So I'm going to ask you as a Black man, your therapist is what? I'm just curious.
No, I tell you, it's a guy. He's Black and Latin, I think.
A Black therapist, because I feel judged with Black therapists.
Yeah, and he's gay like I am.
Okay.
So it just kind of worked. It kind of worked, and the first time. And he even said to me, it's really hard to find somebody to connect with a therapist. He said, let's just see how this goes. And he didn't charge me for the first session.
Okay.
Just to kind of get a feel.
Okay.
And he was easy to talk to. Easy to talk to. So I was lucky because I found one the first time.
Good. Yeah, you are. You're very lucky. And then all the rigmarole of coverage and cost and people who are accepting new patients, not patients, but new patients. And it's hard.
It is. But what I did is I researched that prior.
Okay.
I was looked at my coverage and I looked at therapists in my area who took my coverage. So I knew my coverage was going to be fine. So I tried to do that work ahead of time. And then I was like, it needs to be by my house. Because if I have a bad session and I'm really upset, I want to make sure that I'm not too far away from home and stuff like that. So, he was so close I could almost walk. So.
Oh, you really put a lot of thought into that.
I really did. I did.
Listen, so let me tell you how one time I used the service through my healthcare provider I was looking for a therapist. So I called, I was like, I need to be back in therapy. I need you to help me find a doctor. It's been difficult for me to do it on my own. Do you know they transferred me over to a suicide hotline?
No, they did.
Yes, they did.
Stop playing.
And they started asking me these probing questions. I was like, no. I'm fine. No, I'm not in any danger right now. I just know that I need a therapist immediately. I need to start seeing someone. I'm in a space right now. I need to, I was dying laughing.
I know you were.
I was dying laughing. I was like, wait.
That only happens to you.
Right, exactly. I was like, okay. He said, I'm going to transfer you to someone who I think can help you. And I was like, okay, they're about to help me find a therapist, somebody who's going to take new patients. And next thing I know, he was like, okay, tell me how you're feeling right now. Are you in any danger? I was like, no. I just want somebody.
Wow.
Yeah, I was dying laughing when I got off the phone. I was like, what the hell?
Seriously.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm a huge proponent of therapy, and I wish more people took advantage of it.
Seriously, I mean, I recommend it to people all the time, and I tell them, don't be afraid to go. And if you don't like it, just stop going.
Exactly.
But give it a couple of tries. Don't just go the first time and stop going, you know?
Yeah, because sometimes you were lucky, but sometimes that match is difficult. Definitely.
I definitely understand that. Yeah.
Now, with your gig, your job, you do a lot of international travel.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
Tell me, what are your thoughts of the state of the world?
You know, it's weird because prior to this job, and I've been in this position for almost 2 years, I didn't really do any international travel. So it's interesting to see people's perspective of change of the United States.
Okay. Yeah, I bet.
People had this perspective of us, and they still want to come here. But now that we have our current leadership, they're like, you know. And then you start talking to them, and their presidents and prime ministers are just as screwed up as ours.
Sure.
So everybody's in the same boat as we don't hear about theirs. But also being over in a lot of those places, it also makes you appreciate when you come home. And I just think that, you know, my whole take on this whole political thing is we need to get to a point where it stops being about a party. I feel like we need to all belong to the party of common sense.
Right. How about that?
You know, no matter what, if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, to me it doesn't matter because I don't really belong to either party. There are things I can take from both parties, and I look at the person themselves, and I just think that we got to stop. Like, it's like I call it, it's like a game. It's like Crips and Bloods, and everybody's trying to choose a side.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. Like, I know people. I have friends who are Republican.
I know you do.
And the thing about it is, they'll be saying stuff, and I'm like, I know you don't believe that because I know you.
Right.
But they riding so hard for their party that they're
Right.
willing to compromise their own beliefs just to ride that hard for their party. And I'm sitting here like, when did this happen? When did we get here? And then, like, you see stuff like, you know, Bush's funeral, where these candidates, they're all friends. You got Michelle Obama and Bush Jr., they like best friends. And they have different political beliefs, so we the only ones that's doing the war. Like, they can separate that stuff. So I think that people need to listen more, black people, white people, everybody, and we need to stop believing all these false things going on and actually listen to what's going on and pay attention. We do.
Yeah, exactly. Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Yeah, it's kind of frightening. You know what I mean?
It makes me afraid of where we're headed. It does.
Yeah.
Because, like, these kids today are going to be the ones that's going to be taking care of us. And I'm like, you know, we got to do better. We got to do better. We do.
When I asked about the state of the world and why I tied it into your international travel, because I knew you would have a interesting